Good morning and welcome. It's the beautiful game on a Saturday morning. And it's Saturday, the 10th of May, 2025. My name is Mike Messikero, Sam Adeyemi, and Toyosi Afolayan in the house with me. Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, good morning, Sam. Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Mike.
Yeah. Good to go. I understand why this is happening.
Okay, yeah.
I can explain to all of you. No. You see, was it Wednesday and Tuesday?
Mike, you want to do this.
Okay,
he's our guy.
I don't want to go into detail.
He's our guy.
Just
So
Tuesday and
do
Wednesday. It's PTSD. That's the word. We understand. We're okay.
He's our guy, so we understand.
Well, life happens. It's just once in a while.
This is going through a lot mentally. So I don't know if you are out there. I like Toyosi. Just send us a message.
Whenever you see Toyosi, just give me a hug, man.
Just give, not only a hug, I should give him that hug. Just squeeze small 10K inside his hand.
Now waiting. You
understand?
Squeeze
Ask me for his phone or his contact. Just send us to any message that you like Toyosi because he's going through a lot. Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah. What happened? Yeah. Tuesday and Wednesday, what happened? So he's not giving me a hug. Just squeeze small to 10,000 and just say, just take this. All right. But Sam, it's great to have you here.
Yeah, it's great to be here. To your see, Mike, and then to our viewers. Like you said, the week was a long week, and it was a very, very beautiful week. This is what we love about the game: football, and then top-notch games, and then there's some cries, there's some jubilations, it's part of the game. And then we did enjoy the whole thing. Football has re-engineered itself again, making because some of the things that happened really make a lot of us happy and trying to get much into the game. No. It's good. It's good. Let me just say it like
all right, wonderful. You know what now? Before you saw some highlights, those were some of the goals, some of the best Classico goals. We're going to preview the Classico, but just before that, let's rewind back at European games. We're going to look at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League. Let's start from the Champions League. We gave, I can't remember what our predictions were, but we saw on Tuesday.
Went right, actually.
His prediction went right. Okay, good. It was on Tuesday. I saw one of the best games of, in football. Like I say, Barca versus Inter. They gave me 2 legs of maybe classical. I can't remember when last I watched a football match that I enjoyed that much. Maybe, I'm telling you, this is maybe PSG Liverpool first leg. I'm talking about football matches that I think I've concentrated the most. We have so much football now that it's hard to concentrate 90 minutes. I can't remember which match I see a full match. But I remember PSG Liverpool first leg and then Barca Inter over the 2 legs. The parts I miss, I'm angry. Over the 2 legs. Same thing Thierry Henry said. A lot of people are saying they're getting bored of football. But those matches, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Çalhanoğlu, Lautaro Martinez.
Barella was.
But Donald, what's his name now? Soma. And even Chesney came together to give us a wonderful 2 legs of football.
Yeah. Absolutely, and thankfully, nobody needs to tell anyone this story because I saw it live. This is those games that you miss, and then you feel like, why did I miss this? And that's it. If you do miss any of the first leg or second leg, man, it's not about the highlights. If you can still watch the full game all over again. In fact, if I still see where it's being shown, I would love to watch it all over again because that's classic football. Like you said, 2-legged game that we've had that is this intense. I can't remember. I've been trying to. The one that comes to mind was probably Inter and Milan, the quarterfinals in 2004. Maybe for the players in the second leg. Remember when Obafemi Martin scored the goal and then the whole stadium.
Was it that where we saw that picture?
Yes, Materazzi and Rui Costa.
That's epic picture.
That epic picture, yes.
Both of them standing and all of that.
Over 2 legs, that was another one. But that one is a bit to understand because it's a derby. The 2 games were played in the same stadium over 2 legs. But this, first in Montoya and then at San Siro, 7-6. Wow! How do you get
Barca,
that?
Barca went forward, they came back to go back and return back.
Football was totally on display, and like everybody that saw that game, and it's the same thing. This is what we love about it. The fact that up until the last second, you cannot see the match has ended. And football, thanks to both teams for every player that was involved in that side, the entire coaching crew. And I think we will look at all of that. But we're talking about the beauty of football now.
Yes, because you see, and let me say something.
I'm really happy that I saw the 2 games.
One of my mentors who I listen to a lot, Godwin Anakena, always says this: look, we are analysts. except any of, I don't know if you've done a coaching license.
I haven't done it.
Good. Look, you are not there. You see that this guy is fit. You saw him on the bench, and nobody said, they say he's fit. But on the way, you know that his daughter just set leg for her daddy, and daddy fell down and one small thing, or maybe a fever, or he's coughing, or just something.
Yeah.
You never know. Look, there's a point we get to. You trust these guys and say, look, that was how it was meant to be. And I tell people, there are times I can criticize coaches. Yes, they are humans.
Yes, we do that.
You know. But for me, I told people, and I gave reasons why. Inzaghi versus Simeone Inzaghi versus Hansi Flick, none of them. You cannot. These guys are two of the best coaches at the moment, and what they make their minds to do. If it had
their
worked,
philosophy,
if
yes.
one small thing had happened, we'll be singing a different story.
Yes,
Of
yes.
course.
We'll be singing
Barcelona in
different. I
final.
mean, okay, look at the issue of Lewandowski. Everybody's talking about it. You are leading and then you bring in Lewandowski.
But normal they should
If
have
Lewandowski had
Christensen.
scored that
The
rebound,
header,
Yeah. Barcelona were
and
into
it's
the
5
finals.
what? At that time,
At
to
the
go
time, it was going to be
4-3.
4-3.
Good before, yeah.
If he had scored that rebound, would we
And
be
the
saying,
game-
we'll be saying,
the game would have
great
been
coach,
genius, yeah.
tactical genius, the best way to defend is
to
to
attack.
attack. And that's what happened. So for me, you can, everybody, somebody just started watching football when Mourinho became Chelsea coach. I called himself Agbaoji. He knows tactics. So now I've never opened football manager to even open to understand what goes on. The one that annoys me the most, someday we'll talk about it. Please remind me, guys, they say penalty is lottery. What?
You know, some will say
No,
50-50. Some
What
will
is
say
50-50? Then instead of penalty, then let's throw coin. A coin
Yeah,
toss is 50-50.
that's
Yeah.
50-50. But playing a penalty
I mean,
takes
You can't, there's
courage,
some things.
That was how
finesse,
it
a lot
was
of
in the
things.
rule of football. Maybe up until the late 80s or so. That's when with the toss of coin being taken
that
out
one
of
is the luck. That's
yeah,
the
so
only
So
luck.
for me, Hansi Flick and Simone
Simone
Inzaghi,
Inzaghi.
they gave us
Yeah,
a feast.
but we can still criticize some aspect of the
Yeah,
game.
oh yeah,
And I
we
understand
can, we
that
can.
we like.
I'm just saying that we cannot prove and say, oh, these guys, they were entirely
no,
wrong.
There are actually many things we can say about
Of
the two
course.
coaches. But like I said, let's just appreciate football because over is it 120 plus 90, 210 minutes of football.
football.
It was
It was
classic.
massive. If
On
you were
both sides,
neutral,
yes,
you would
you
enjoy
can
it.
now
As
look
a
at
neutral, you would
Simone
enjoy
Inzaghi, Hansi Flick, substitution, or
fault.
all of those things. Then we can do that.
All right, so but for you, where did Barca miss it? Maybe from the players' part or did Barca miss
I
it?
think the mentality that you can always go 2 goals behind and also still come back to win was what haunted Barcelona. They've done it many times this season against Atletico de Madrid. They came back against Real Madrid. Same thing. So many teams in La Liga, even in the Copa del Rey, they've gone back. Even in Champions League, they've gone back and then they came back to win the game. Some more than 1 goal match, some more than 2. But the first leg, the early goal destabilized Barcelona. Second goal happened, and then you came back. You should have won that game 3-2 or whatever, but you drew 3-3. This second leg, first one entered. Second one entered, half-time. We thought everything, of course, as a Barcelona fan, you would have known that the game is not over because you've seen this team repeat this thing all time this season. When it was 3-2, as a coach, or even as a fan, you'd be like, okay, if we were playing FIFA, you know, you switch to a back 5 straight away. I'm not saying you shouldn't attack anymore, but I think the time-wasting tactics could have worked for FC Barcelona. Bringing in a defender, extra defender, would have worked. But I don't want to fault what he brought the striker for. What's his name? This guy, Araujo, was the culprit. 2 goals on him. 2 goals. The first leg, we didn't see centre backs of Inter Milan rotating. They were not coming off from that back. But this second leg, Asabi was coming out. Bastoni was coming out. I saw my Bastoni move from the back past Lamine Yamal to where Thuram would stay.
When you're already,
it's just terrible that Barcelona could not mark defenders. Defenders are not coming to. Dumfries got 4 or 5 goal contributions.
Yeah. So, but I don't want to agree with you. Yes, I want us to criticize, like I did on the platform. I did criticize, but then when you brought up the perspective, and that's what I'm trying to understand. Barcelona considered 7 goals. Inter Milan considered 6 goals. That is unrealistic. No. That is not what you see.
In the whole Champions League before this point, Inter Milan considered only 5.
Only 5. Yeah. In fact, out of that 5, they considered 3 against. They considered only 1 throughout the entire group.
Bayern Munich was the one who scored against them.
They considered only 1 goal throughout the entire group stage.
So they came up easy.
So people need to understand. They considered 3 against Bayern Munich. So they considered one in the quarterfinals. I mean, in the second round.
Yeah.
So it's a very disciplined side, but yet in the 2 games they considered more than what they considered in 12 games.
They
that
could not stop Barcelona, of course.
No, so it's a all total football on both sides. And for Barcelona as well.
It's normal for Barcelona.
So I don't. That's what I'm saying. No, let us just go there again.
Barcelona cut the pitch into 2.
Barcelona were dominating. But one thing I liked about Inter was when they had their time, they would make use of it. They could have scored Barcelona even when it was 2-0. They would have scored more, but they were not. For me, is it Thuram? He's not a striker.
But he was injured.
Hold up. No, it's not about injury. See, if you bring Thuram to FC Barcelona, it will not succeed.
Of course.
Because how will you say your striker is useful because he can do all the play?
No. You cannot criticize some players sometimes.
Giroud lose that team win World Cup.
It is a tournament, not league.
No.
My striker got scored now.
Sometimes we don't have to criticize players too much.
Yes.
Like Mike did mention, some of these players we don't know. Marcus Thuram was not, in fact, if anyone observed from the first half, from the first half of this second leg, he was limping.
Yeah.
But because we cannot afford to, Inter cannot afford to take him out. Lautaro wasn't even supposed to play football at all. So it was managed for 45 minutes, and then in fact, managed up to 50 minutes. And so people are saying maybe they should have even bring him back in the second half. The injury he had in the first leg towards the end of first half was still there. And he couldn't. From Thuram, he was playing with injury. Same can be said of Denzel Dumfries.
Lotaro said 2 days he was crying. His mom had to tell him.
So we need to some of these things because we see players on the bench, we see them on the pitch.
I understand the injury aspect.
Lotaro said the leg
play
was
with
basically
sometimes
dead because they had to tie the leg. So it was just like a unit. You know when you do
tell me if they did not inject that man.
Most definitely.
And which is why when I see the money they are collecting, no one should not
it's worth it too.
But although we have to talk about
bodies.
Zambrotta and the issues he has now with his leg, even though it can be very, very gruesome on them. But then they gave us football. Let's rush over the other ones before we can take some calls on this one. Let's rush over Arsenal. Arsenal were up against PSG, even after the first leg and all of that. It seemed like they could do something, but Arsenal PSG. Arsenal PSG, was it going to go any other way after the first leg?
It was not a problem of if he was going to stay with PSG or go to Arsenal. I think if you're going to look at it, Arsenal, or let me say Arteta, out-coached Enrique in the first 45.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, the first 20 minutes of that match, PSG was not there.
They were not there.
I would let
Donnarumma was saving grace
for 90 minutes.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they didn't score.
Same thing
what
they
did
did.
you do with your dad?
Same thing they did at the Emirates when they pinned Arsenal for 15 minutes. Arsenal did way worse.
Yes.
And Arsenal had more chances. I'm not a fan of XGO, but when you look at the XG of Arsenal, you look at how you want to criticize their strikers, their forward.
That's fact, which is why he should have gotten a striker. Even now we are hearing that it's Zubimendi.
Zubimendi is off to Arsenal already. But, okay, don't fault Zubimendi. Jorginho is leaving. So, of course, you want...
No, my point is that...
I don't understand. How many games has Jorginho played that you needed to find a replacement for him?
No, Jorginho was injured this season.
I'm saying how many games has he played that you need to find a replacement for? The place that you need the most reinforcement.
Striker, yeah.
You are not looking at that. You are looking at a midfield that's already...
According to report, Gyökeres is... speaking with better already.
Thomas Partey is going to Saudi Arabia. Is that why he's getting him? Because it will be absurd. I'm sorry that I quickly have to mention it.
Yes.
About Mikel Arteta. We have said it here. Beginning of the season, I feel he has outlived his stay at Arsenal. And that's not because he's not a good coach, but I think he has given all he could to that team. Maybe they just need somebody to pull it up. Because some of these signings and decisions he made, even against the PSG, first leg, yes, PSG had very good chances, but why was Ethan Nwaneri sitting on the bench for long? Even in this second leg, you had nothing to lose. That boy is a gem.
That
boy is a gem. So there were some decisions could have made. For example, Luis Kelly. Luis Kelly had a...
Arteta, you can criticize that one because
Luis Kelly in the first leg, in the first half, how many balls did Luis Kelly lose in the first half? And then you had the Calafiori. Yes, that's the thing. Why did you wait till that long?
I understand.
Same thing with Mikel Merino.
Merino was off. We can criticize.
So that's what I'm saying. For that second leg, the game is almost done and dusted. So you do everything. That's what we are going to talk about. If
those goals are coming,
Simone Inzaghi with Barcelona. Fratesi has been one of the most frustrating players of Inter Milan ever. but then it was like there's nothing to lose there. No, on a normal game, no Inter Milan fans will want Çalhanoğlu to be pulled off. But then it was like, what is it?
It's not
brought
working.
in Zielinski, brought in Fratesi. Fratesi scored the winning goal. So those are the things that you just have to take. It's last minute. If there's anything, Arteta himself should have learned from Pep.
I think,
because Pep makes those drastic decisions sometimes as well.
Straight up. First of all, he played his whole first team against Bournemouth.
So then there's...
Why didn't someone replay that game? Why didn't Sterling play that game? Why didn't Zinchenko play that game?
Are you still going for the league?
Why didn't they play that game?
Okay.
And then you now lost, and then you brought the same guys. You're up against this summit. So see, but Arteta has his own problems plenty.
Okay, I understand Arteta's fault, but if those chances, you have to see. I think this game that happened, Barcelona, they won against Arsenal. It has taught us that football is not played with only attackers.
Oh,
your goalkeepers can win you games.
No.
If not for Donnarumma's interceptions in the first 20 minutes, Arsenal would have gone 3 goals up. So, but it is
Very
what it is.
true.
And this guy took the penalty also,
Very
right?
true. And that's the thing. You see, when people invest in goalkeepers, I mean, we saw it. We saw what Jan Sommer did. We saw how, Onana did well in his 1 year in Inter Milan, but when they sold him for a profit, got in Jan Sommer. Jan Sommer has always been that underrated.
Yeah.
He's not today.
Mönchengladbach.
You don't they keep Tete. Jan Sommer not be today keep
People always just say it's in tournaments that people tend to
tournament
every time Switzerland comes in, like,
and if you look at the top
Sommer,
keepers, you know that the Donnarummas, the Alissons, these are keepers that in clutch moments,
They come up.
They'll come up for you. People spend so much money in those kind of
Donnarumma is so
keepers.
experienced for his age.
No, of course, this is someone that is younger than Yamal. He
16.
He has more
was the
caps.
first team player already.
At 15 he was on the bench.
Abiati got injury. I could remember that season.
Yes.
And then he was brought in. And Abiati never
Came back
Never
again.
go back.
into the
He has a younger brother. He has two other brothers also.
That
That
was
even, and you're talking about Yamal.
He became captain.
Do you know how
Captain.
Donnarumma had at 17?
So
Donnarumma is that plus international caps.
Person with bench before.
You understand? And then the height and then what the good thing about Donnarumma is the only top keeper that I know. Low balls is hard to beat him.
Low balls,
Courtois,
high ball.
low ball, they beat that one away.
Toros.
But you see Donnarumma, his leg, you see his
That's why
leg.
he's a gigantic.
And he's very athletic.
You understand?
Very
With his
athletic.
size. So
Those
yes,
Nigeria is
it
having a player like that coming up. The goalkeeper for the under-20 AFCON.
AFCON.
Yeah.
Ebenezer.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right.
Are you
He's
serious?
the youngest player in the tournament
Wonderful.
at
You see,
15. So
I'm
and
telling you,
it's
if some kind of
good.
countries you go don't call him up for
The
first
guy
team.
is no.
Make no, not to start.
No,
not sure.
no,
Maybe
start training
three keepers now.
Yeah, start training with the national
It's
team.
three
Yeah.
keepers.
The coach of the Super Eagles is
What I'm saying
currently
is that, what I'm saying is this, you know that it's going to be hard for other two keepers to play. You know that it's only your first choice. Bring him in as third choice.
Let him just
Let him start watching.
Nigeria is playing against Ghana and these guys in May. So they might invite him for the
I
third.
really
And
love
let me tell you,
sports.
there are some generational talents.
Yeah.
But when you see them, give them the chance.
You go know.
Someone said something. If Yamal was there 10 years ago, he wouldn't have even started in Barca.
Yeah.
At all.
Piqué himself said that people were criticizing. I said people
You
don't
know the
understand
truth
what he
now.
was saying. He's not saying that with what he's playing. He's saying that he wouldn't even have the chance to be looked in. And that's what I'm saying.
That was so stacked. Their team was stacked.
Exactly. When I'm just saying now that we have somebody like that you see, generation, somebody that this guy.
After that 17 World Cup,
He was that kind of a person.
Yeah, so-
I still remember I was promised a Fogi on TV
Yes.
news.
He
After
brought
he
him.
won that tournament and then he came with his highest goal scorer award. They were just talking about this guy, lanky, but he has this thing and all of that. Finally, we got to use him quite well. But in some countries, he might have started earlier.
No, he started earlier.
Yeah.
He started
the
but
senior
injury.
team.
Yes.
Yes, in the national team.
He was having injury issues.
And
He was
also
unsettled at
because also
Wolfsburg.
club as well. It wasn't. There were so many things you have to
from
take. Moving to
Wolfsburg,
Charleroi,
getting injured
to-
and all of that.
So that really didn't
Yeah, it was in
stabilize him in the
2019.
national team.
2019
at the
that he
early
got
stage.
that from back.
All right. So let's before we move, before we take a break, let's take some calls. 02. You see the numbers now across the screen. 02016352011 and 2012. Now we're going to move to Chelsea. I'll do Man U first. Watch it. It's tier by tier.
level.
Level by level. Chelsea is third tier. So let's do Man U and this thing. But we have the highlights here of Man U versus Tottenham.
Yeah.
No, a preview of what the final
preview
will
of
be.
the final.
Of the final, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at this. It's Man U versus Tottenham, right? Where they are getting ready.
The battle of the mids, 15 and 16th.
Well, let's see. Let's take a look at what we expect from Man U versus Tottenham before we talk about them. Let's take a look. Okay, we'll get that as soon as we can. You just see there that it's going to be Man U versus Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
I will take a look at that. But
It's the El Clownico.
El Claudico.
Chop knock.
That is
because
what-
you're performing well
That's what
in the
they're
Europa
being
League just because
Yeah, but
the Champions League team
the
did
two
not
sides
drop.
are there.
Arsene Wenger said something and said that the Europa League, the winners of the Europa League should not be rewarded with Champions League.
Spot
and when
on.
you look at these two, you are looking at the 15th and 16th. If not that the relegation teams performed so badly,
They would have been in
they are
relegation battle.
37,
Guys,
38.
yeah,
They're not
they
even.
missed-
They're not
they
even
missed
hitting the
40,
40-point
yeah.
mark.
40 points is what
That
makes
means
you safe in the
yes,
Premier League.
on some other leagues
Seasons.
now, they'll be relegated.
Sure.
And then both of them now are fighting for a place above what? Above over how many positions above them? Over 9 positions before the top 5. 9 positions above them. Who play better football will
9,
not
10.
have the chance to get into the Champions League. But now, Man U or Tottenham will play Champions League next season. So next season now we can just see Tottenham versus Inter Milan.
You know, Manchester United fans are saying that they are going to accept this season because their trophy is going to probably come. Yeah, but before coming this morning, I saw Paul Scholes' statement on Twitter where he said that I understand trophy is the hallmark of football, but what is the joy when you see your team getting battered almost every time? Your team in the domestic league, they are nowhere to be found. You know, it's so sad. So you see Arsenal not win anything, but you want to compare it to when Arsenal were playing Europa League. Arsenal had Chelsea drop down from Champions League to come and win them 4-1.
Yes.
So many teams dropped down. Sevilla dropped down from
Which
Champions
makes it
League.
more
So it makes it more
competitive.
competitive.
Yeah.
You're playing Bodo Glimt, you're playing Guimaraes. A lot of these smaller teams, you're playing them and you're saying you're winning Europa League. Stick to the Europa League,
I
man.
think that's where the argument of Wenger comes into place. That maybe since we are now on the league phase, kind of that reward should not be added to Europa League. But I still think it's a good one because some of these teams, what they play for is that Champions League spot. Yes, they might not have it might not be as qualitative as it used to be again because no teams from Champions League is dropping in there. But then I think that reward for Champions League spots should still be there for any teams that get to win.
But now what happened that we saw it, Manchester United made mention before the last 2 rounds of matches that they were not going to play. They're going to use academy players for the league.
Because that's it. They just have to focus
And
on
they
it.
will just go look at Tottenham Hotspur now. Both of them now. You think one of them will focus on league?
No, it's not possible.
Anybody
relegation is confirmed
Tottenham,
already.
Man U, anybody against them, just put them win or draw for the other team. It's sure they are not going to win any match
See
again.
Brentford. See what he did against Brentford. He brought Chido Obi Martin, 16-year-old boy. Made that boy start. There are so many players that gave debut in that last game.
But it's suspected. When you see this is the roots. And that's what we criticize Arteta for feeding the first team when there was nothing to fight for there. And that's the thing.
Well, they were not injured, so I can't blame me anymore.
Manchester United has everything to focus on this Champions League spot because this is the only way they are getting to Europe. Same thing with Spurs. Postecoglou has already promised them that he wins trophy in his second season. So he needs to. Fortunately for him, he has good players who are making good stride. Brennan Johnson, I think one of the top scorers in Europa League this season.
Sri Lanka is coming back also,
Richarlison is also back. So everybody, even though the two sides are not doing so well in the league, this is a trophy for them.
But
And it's not just a trophy because they are going to lift a
activities,
silverware, but because of that Champions League spot that is going to get to them. Because without this, they're not going anywhere near Europe. Not even
I don't know
Conference
if we
League.
have that thing now. If we can show that Man
that
versus Tottenham Hotspur. Clownico, that's what we call it. Yeah, I don't know if we have that now. If we can show it now.
Anyway, I'm backing Spurs to win.
They're backing supposed to win. Yes,
I cannot believe it.
No.
I cannot believe that. Like,
yes,
knowing where you
know why?
Where you look at in the part of London.
You know why?
Are you surprised?
No. See, I'm a Nigerian fan. I'm not English.
Okay.
So when it comes to my Nigerian angle, I don't see Spurs as any rival.
Okay.
I don't see. Maybe when you play against them, of course, I would. Of course,
We'll take a very short break. When we get back, we'll talk about all that we have to do, and of course, El Clasico. See, when you are 15th and 16th, that is what you guys fear. So for Man U fans, that's just it, yeah. But then let's move on to Chelsea, yes. Chelsea will be up against Real Betis, against Pocoli, Ballon d'Or nominee, Ballon d'Or. Wait, but normally, if he should win conference league, shouldn't he be a Ballon d'Or nominee?
I don't know. It has to be. You have to look at the record.
Record at least from January now to this point.
Yeah. Look at the people that that have done better. It's not about. I know you are intrigued, but this boy is Shannon. But normally we pick the MVP of Conference League to get nominated for Ballon d'Or.
Okay. Well, the point is that he has been performing well. But Real Betis will be up against Chelsea. Chelsea fans, they don't agree with us rest this whole week. I don't know. Chelsea. How can you be?
Because Liverpool gave them.
How can Chelsea be tackling Arsenal fans? I don't have any problem against both of them. What I'm just saying, one person is in university. No, there's university, there's secondary, then there's primary.
No.
Primary is conference. Primary is conference league.
That's how it should be.
Europa
not
is secondary.
No.
Yes, Europa is secondary. Yeah. Then Champions League is university.
Yes.
So now you in primary school, you're not going to say, year 2, your mate are in final year. But you.
Yeah, I see in primary school.
You're in primary school.
Like, that's it. I like this analogy.
Chelsea fans, let's hear it from you. Chelsea fans, 0802-081-5247. That's WhatsApp call. So that's easier for you. WhatsApp call. Let's hear your thoughts on everything that happened all across. But Chelsea versus Betis final, what are your thoughts?
It's going to be a great game, and then thankfully Betis has been, they've been resurgent with, no, and this is not, with
okay, we don't have a call. We don't have a call.
Okay.
We don't have a call. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, please turn down the volume on your TV set. Yes, and then talk to us directly on the phone. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Okay, I've done that already.
All right, go ahead, talk to us.
I'm talking about the Mayu show.
Okay.
That was a slide of a bit.
Oh my.
Sorry, please call back. But I know you're using normal phone call. Use the WhatsApp, 002-081-5247 on WhatsApp. You can get to us. A number of you have all tried calling. We had issues with calls dropping. Sorry about that. You can call via the WhatsApp. Okay, so, yeah, Chelsea versus Betis.
I think it's going to be a great game on both sides. Chelsea, you cannot be sure of it. Yes, they've got players, but then Maresca just always seems to think but he's playing against a very experienced side in Manuel Pellegrini, a former Premier League winner, a former, what's the other one that he won as well? No, he won La Liga with Madrid, I think, yeah. I think he won La Liga with Madrid before. So it's a very experienced, and then he's got players who are also ready to give out to him. Anthony has added a lot to that team, and that can never be taken away. To be fair, if it should be one of the MVP for this tournament, yeah. Even though he didn't start with them, but then he's been very. He's had about 12 or 14 goals contributions since.
He's playing against. I think.
I'm expecting a very good game.
Fiorentina.
Yeah,
the hardest game so far.
But not only that, he has performed well in the league.
No, I'm not saying okay.
In the league.
Okay, in the league,
he did tackle other teams.
Better than
well. My point is that he is not as bad. Look, in Man this guy was. Any of you here go bencher?
No, of course I can't.
You go bencher? You ain't a misspell here.
No, see it.
You don't see this guy take penalty. We have another caller. Hello, what Bright? Hello, Bright. Talk to us.
Okay. I want to share my thought on the Barcelona-Inter Milan game.
Go ahead, fire down, Bright.
Barcelona-Inter Milan game, yes. This, I think Hans Flick was a very good coach in that game, but there is a problem. There was a little problem in that very game. If you look at the injury problem we had with Alexandra Balde not being in that game, Gerard Martin was one of the problems Barcelona had in that game. If you look at the first leg, if you do a critical analysis of it, most of the goals the Inter Milan had came from that left wing. And the even winning goal was the same fault from Gerard Martin. That guy was not fantastic. Yes, it's true that he assisted 2 goals in that match though, but he had a problem. There was a serious problem on that particular wing. The guy was not strong enough, and immediately Inter discovered that they started using that wing. Most of the goals that came from Gerard Martin's wing. The guy was not, I don't know, I will not say he's not that energetic enough to withstand pressure.
All right.
So the goals were just coming from his wing. Even that last goal that they used in equalizing, what he would have done was to clear that ball and relax himself, may fall back immediately. But he fell, and that, as a good defender, he's supposed to win that game. Supposed to win that ball from that defender because already he was in front of the defender. But there was this, I don't know, will I say overconfidence on him that he thought. And if you look at the referee was just, he was not biased. That referee was one of the best referees I've ever seen in Champions League.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Coming from a Barcelona fan.
Thank you very much, Brian. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's just take something here from Jack Bauer. Jack Bauer says, hi, crew. Here, an English team has won the UEFA Champions League trophy every time a Pope dies. He goes on to list all the times. But he says, I now believe that Arsenal is jinxed in this competition and may never win their first UCL title ever. That's Jack Bauer.
Before I get married, they're going to win. Basically, yeah.
Well, you can see marry at 70, so there's enough time. There's enough time. This is from Eben Prince. Second, I believe that for Chelsea to defeat Liverpool, Newcastle, Man U, and Forest should not and will not be a problem. Up Chelsea. Chelsea are still primary school compared to where that is. And by that, it's just because of the competition. It's Conference League. In fact, Conference League, they don't even have panel when they want to start the game.
No.
Community Shield has panel. Conference League, you don't get pedigree competition.
Of course. No, unfortunately for them, they also play on the day that Europa League plays.
Yes,
so
now.
nobody really tends to. Most times it's the
tell
results.
Me, can they join Champions League game
results
with
that
the Europa
people
game?
get.
It's not possible.
It's not, except they restructure or something match.
Yeah,
but you now, they just more find somewhere put them. I go to some sites, you don't even see the highlights. They have Champions League highlights.
Before you get there
they
to
have
see the
Europa League
highlights.
highlights. You cannot even see Chelsea highlights. Because
maybe they are club will upload.
You cannot use highlights when you're talking about 30th Conference League.
No, do you want to watch?
Okpayemi is on the line. Okpayemi.
He must be a Chelsea fan. He has to be a Chelsea fan.
Okpayemi, talk to us. Hello, Okpayemi. Okay, Okpayemi, once you can get through, just talk to us.
No, Chelsea fans need to call him. What Mike is doing to you guys, I cannot take it. Though I wish I can just defend you.
They deserve it. Because I don't know why they would say their season is successful because they won. I mean, of course, if they win Conference League, it is not a successful season.
They say they're the only club that have won all the tiers.
Yeah.
How can Madrid win Conference League?
Yeah, like I don't know.
What
will we be looking for there?
What's the chance in
Why do you want to see Madrid in
on
Europa?
what basis we lay?
Even Arsenal said. Arsenal cannot go because right from Wenger days, top four.
No, even when Arteta, when he finished 8th, he would have not even gone to the.
All right, hello, good morning. Talk to us. You're live. Hello. Don't worry, we'll sort out these issues there. I'm sorry, a number of you have been trying to call. Might have some issues with picking your call, but please still do try. We still have a few more minutes. Let's have those calls to wrap up the show. But well, whichever way, Chelsea versus Betis. What are your picks? Who's winning that match?
I think it's going to be a Chelsea game, but then I don't. It's not going to be an outright one. If they do everything right, especially with converting their chances, because they haven't been doing that much. When you look at Cole Palmer, yes, he might have scored in the last game, but then he hasn't been as clinical as he was last season. And there's a lot that rests on him. They cannot trust Nico Jackson to always deliver, even though he scored 2 goals in there. But then they cannot
let's see if
always
we can
trust.
get this call to wrap up. Let's see if we can get this call. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you're live. You're live. Talk to us. Yes, talk to us.
Concerning the Barcelona game and Inter, that game was not meant to be. To be honest, it wasn't meant to be because we can't blame, like you rightly said earlier, we can't blame any of the coaches because tactical-wise, they've done their best. But it's just not meant to be for Barcelona on that day. So we can't really fault that he brought in Lewandowski. The best way to attack is to defend. So we can't really blame them. And lastly, now I would like to say something. Now this is completely unrelated. Now about the Bundesliga, Mike, you don't normally talk about the Bundesliga.
My brother,
and I wonder why. Now look at Harry Kane. Now at least this is a big testimony for us. Now at least I'm a Bayern Munich fan, so we need to celebrate Harry Kane because
Bayern Munich fan.
We're not the classical.
And we're not talking about it. We should be talking about it.
Mike. Okay, well that's how we wrap up the show. Thank you. That's how we wrap up the show. That's how we wrap up the show. Okay, let's do a classic. Harry Kane finally, if Harry Kane curse can be broken, maybe Arsenal have hope.
No, that's why I also believe Spurs is going to win the Europa League final. But congratulations to Harry Kane.
To Harry Kane.
Congratulations, At
That is
31.
after many years, Harry Kane has won the Bundesliga.
Has
Of
won
course,
the title
talking still on
for himself.
Bundesliga news, Xabi Alonso will be leaving Leverkusen.
Yes.
Gave
Real
some,
Madrid.
to Real Madrid, which I still don't think that company is an accomplished coach. I still don't think that winning this
You can go to
Bundesliga
Bundesliga
shows
and win.
that.
I just thought that
No,
dominated that place.
I doubt it. The two coaches lost only 2 games this season. I'm talking about, the same number
Alonso
of goals.
drew so many games.
More. So that's why I don't want you to just say as if company didn't do anything. Tuchel was there last year. We know how the whole thing ended. So even he gave the title to Leverkusen very early. But then to Harry Kane, I'm so happy for him. You cannot be a scorer of that nature and never tend to win a trophy. And thankfully, Bayern Munich has delivered him his first trophy. I hope it's first of many before he finally calls it off on the beautiful game.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, let's take one more call and then we wrap up with this one. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning. Go ahead. Talk to us.
Hello?
You are live. We can hear you. Talk to us.
Hello? Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Crew, the fantastic crew. This is Ibrahim Praise from Unilag.
Even praise. Talk to us. Talk to us.
You want us to call. We have called now. Why
Ibrahim
would
Praise.
we be classified? Why would we be saying? Yes, Ibrahim Praise from Unilag.
Chelsea. Look, this is not. It's not insult.
Now, the class, that's not.
It's third class. If you go to school,
No, hold on.
class,
Whether
go
on
see
track
First class
or not,
is Champions
you are saying,
League.
of course,
2-1
yes.
and 2-2
Okay,
is
yeah.
Europa. Then Conference League
No,
whether
is
class.
first
third
class,
class
or pass.
and pass. It's not
hold on
insult now.
I called. Let me talk now.
Sorry.
Whether first class, second class, upper, third class, they are all going to graduate. It's only the same.
Come on,
It is when they all now meet in the market square of life that they will now know who has that thing upstairs. Are you getting me? Now, you were trying to justify what Chelsea fans have been saying that we are going to win, we are the first to win all the whatever. Yes, we are the first, but we can't. Earlier in the season, we were blaming Maresca for keeping on saying that we are not title contenders. Now we could see things looking a bit that is working gradually. We Chelsea fans, I still support Chelsea fully, and I believe that for Chelsea to have defeated Liverpool, I'm saying it again, which everybody might say whatever they have. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead. Go continue. Wrap up. Okay. All right. That's it. We just have to wrap up the show now. It's been a wonderful show. Thank you very much to everyone who tried to call in. We'll sort this up by next week and all of that. Like I said, we'll have more shows where we'll be interactive and have you talk because it's all about you. We love to analyze, but we also love to hear from you. And thank you for all of our guys. Thank you so much. Let's just wrap up. Barca Madrid, who's winning?
FC Barcelona.
I think it's the same thing.
FC
The
Barcelona.
same result we've seen all through this.
All through this season. FC Barcelona. All right. And also, a very happy birthday to investor Adegoke.
Yeah. Arsenal win for him.
Arsenal fan. Yeah. All right. Maybe Arsenal pick. Arsenal
Good
pick that
birthday.
before he marries.
Arsenal pick up the second position because if they lose, City done the back.
All right. That's it on the show. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.